Hello, how's it going? So I don't know exactly when I'll post this, but most likely it will have been posted in December because of just the way that my posting has been. And so the relevancy of this in my life will be zero because by the time I post this, I'm sure I will have moved on from the problem. I don't know. But I don't know. I still kind of am in a very low energy right now. I'm in a very very emotional state, and I'm just kind of riding the waves. Just kind of riding the waves, and the reason for this low state is because of the person I've been talking to. You know, if I had to blame somebody, it's because of the person I'm talking to. If I had to blame myself, I would say it's because I don't listen to my intuition sometimes, and it's because you know what I mean, I overgive to situations that don't deserve it, you know? But I found myself feeling really emotional this morning, because of this person, because of this situation. And I have to recognize that at some point I will be fine. Like, this is just one moment in time. You know, you can't have the good without the bad. At some point, I will be, you know what I mean, I'll be so far beyond this moment. Also, thank you so much to the fucking birds just screaming right now. LOL. It's also Sunday as I'm recording. Once again, the relevancy of what I'm saying in my life will not matter by the time I post this because it will be like literally 2 months later. So, you know. One thing that I was reminded of when I was in somebody's live stream yesterday was that, you know, because a lot of people say it as a platitude of like, oh, you deserve better, you shouldn't be getting treated like that. And a lot of people, it's literally just a consequence of their own actions, of their own character, you know what I mean? And I say that to say that, like, I think that's very true. Like, sometimes people are in situations because that is what they deserve, that is what they're, you know what I mean, that is who they are, you know? And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to believe that that's not the case for me, because I know who I am. I know, you know, the type of person I am, privately, publicly, like all that, you know? And so when I really sit on it, when I really give myself some space from the situation, it's like, why are you behaving this way? And like, the only actual answer is insecurity. Like, that's the only real answer. It's because you're a fucking insecure man-child who hasn't learned how to process their own emotions, you know? And instead of learning how to do that, like I've tried to teach you, you instead just kind of like project and reject and avoid. I'm tired. I'm tired of it. Like, it's just exhausting. Like, if I didn't have anything going on in my life, if I didn't have any particular goals, then sure, maybe this could be a super fruitful relationship. But I have so much going on and I have so much to focus on. And it's just like this person, whether intentionally or not, because it doesn't fucking matter, just keeps pulling me away from like my priorities and my objectives. And like, you already know what that is. I already know what that is. Like, I don't need anybody to tell me what it is. I know what it is, but it's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, and I guess in this moment, I'm going to try to convince myself not to like close my heart, you know, after this, because like I really did /do have hope for the situation, but like time and time again he just disappoints me and just proves to me that I'm just fucking stupid and I need to listen to my intuition more. Like, that's what he keeps proving to me, you know what I mean? And I think what's kind of funny is that, like, because we didn't have an argument, there could have been an argument, but I chose to kind of just walk away from the situation, and that's kind of where I found myself feeling so low energy, because instead of choosing the higher road, and I say high road, but it's not really a high road, it's not maturity, it's just, instead of choosing anger, instead of, you know, telling him how I feel, I just kind of retracted and withdrew, you know, which is not something I usually do. Once again, when I get angry at this person, usually I'm like quick to be like, this is where you got me fucked up. And like, I hope you understand that, you know. But it's just like, it's just so much energy. And like, I'm realizing that by allowing myself to get into that energy, I'm allowing him to fucking drain me, to fucking siphon me. And whether or not that's his intention does not fucking matter. And I feel like that is really important. Like, just because somebody doesn't mean to do something does not mean that the consequences of their actions should not be taken seriously. You know what I mean? Like, just because I didn't mean to murder somebody doesn't mean that shouldn't be taken seriously to some degree. Like, what? Like, do not get me wrong. I'm about to say some really hurtful shit. I really do care about this person, and I really do love this person. And part of my love is showing people who the fuck they are so that they can potentially, if they want to, choose to be better, you know? And like, what I'm learning, what I'm remembering is that some people will do any and everything to escape themselves, to escape the potential of growth for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, the cognitive dissonance is so fucking real. With some people, it's terrifying. And I personally cannot wrap my head around it, because in this lifetime, I've always been the type of person to just dive headfirst into solving an issue, into reconciling and trying to figure out things, you know? So when other people have this avoidant spirit, have this energy of like, oh, I don't want to talk about that, I don't want to, it doesn't make any sense to me, because it's like, how are we going to have any sort of fruitful relationship, any sort of fruitful connection, if you can't even be honest with yourself, you know? Because it's not even about me. Like, of course I don't want you to lie to me, but fuck lying to me. It's not even about me. It's about, like, you can't even be honest with yourself. And it's like, by that proxy, because I'm so fucking sensitive to energy, because I'm so fucking psychic, I pick up on shit that I have no business picking up on, you know what I mean? And so you're not even being honest with yourself. And so I'm feeling that, I'm seeing that, but there's no sort of resolve, because like, where do we go from here? We're just playing a game of make-believe, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. And like, I've pointed it out to this person before. Like, I really do feel like they get off to some degree on me being affected by them. And I've called them out, and they're like, well, no, that's not it. I don't want you to be unhappy. I want you to be... And maybe that's true. In case this person ends up watching this, maybe that's true. I don't know. But what I do know is that what I'm watching, what I'm looking at, what I'm experiencing is not congruent with what you're telling me. You know, like, you're telling me you care about me, but then you don't want to take the time to, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to take the time to understand how I feel, or understand how your words could be negatively impacting me. So to me, it doesn't really seem like, it doesn't really add up. You know what I mean? And I don't know, part of me, if I want to get biblical, thinks that it's just like, you know, them evil spirits working through him. It's not necessarily him as a human, it's just the spirits working through him. And regardless of whether or not that's what's going on, it's just like, you know, like, and I think another funny part, I don't remember what I was about to say. I had something, but it kind of escaped my mind. But like, I think it's funny, but also not funny, because I give advice all the time. Like, I do readings for people all the time, and I'm not saying this to discount my knowledge or my wisdom or anything, but I think it's funny because a lot of the things I tell other people, I'm having to remind myself, you know? And it's like, what the fuck? Like, for example, you cannot force a person to act right. Like, all you can do is, show up as yourself, teach by example. And if the message is not being received, if the lesson is not being learned, then the final straw is to walk away and like move towards yourself. And I actually did a reading not too long ago, like a couple moments ago. It was at a Crackers. That's crazy. I'm not gonna pick it up, but I did a reading not too long ago, and I don't know like who's gonna watch this in the future or whatever, but like when I make videos, whether it's a tarot reading, whether it's a video, like I'm doing that to potentially help somebody who needs the words, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just me being egotistical and me just trying to vent and just trying to get out my feelings. Like, it's also so that potentially whoever needs to hear it can receive the message, you know what I mean? And like, once again, I said this in a previous video, I'm gaining so much sympathy, so much empathy for people in situations like this, because it's so easy to look at the outside and be like, well, this is what's happening and this is what you need to do. It's so easy to say that, like, oh, you need to just quit drugs, you just need to stop talking to that person, you just need to X, Y, and Z. It's so easy to say those things and do those things, or say those things, excuse me. But then it's a whole other thing to actually implement them. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people, like, it's like empathy is lost on a lot of people, because it's just like, well, if I was in this situation, I would do this. You don't know that because you haven't experienced the situation. And I really need us to check ourselves with that. Like, you cannot say that. Like, it's just, it does not compute as truth. It's not truth. Like, because once again, you're observing from the outside. You don't know what feelings they're feeling. You don't know what's going on in their body, what's going on in their mind. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I've been focused on money recently, so I could also say, you know, that it applies to money too. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, if I got that much money, here's what I would do with it. Bitch, you don't know. Like, because you haven't experienced it yet. Like, one thing about it, like, I don't have that much money to my name right now. Like, I have something, I have more than most, I guess. I don't fucking know. But, like, one thing I've learned in the last year or so is that, like, money changes your energy field. Like, it doesn't necessarily change who you are. A lot of people like to say money makes you evil. It doesn't make you evil. It just makes you more of who you are. And if you get a lot of money, it will show you just how dysregulated you are, just how fucking unstable you are. You know what I mean? Like, that's why so many people lose their money when they win the lottery, because they did not prepare for it. Energetically, they were not ready, you know? And you can swear up and down all day that this is what I would do if I got that, and this is what I would do if I was in that situation. But you never actually know until you're in the situation. So shut the fuck up, you know? Like, just shut up. Shut the fuck up. And to some degree, that kind of goes for, like, love situations too. Like, you know? And that's why so many people treat their partners poorly, because it's like, they were not ready for a healthy relationship. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people say that they want X, Y, and Z, but, like, you never really truly know if you're ready until it shows up. You know what I mean? And I feel like for me, I've definitely been that lesson for a lot of people. Like, you say you want a relationship, you say you want a fuck buddy, you say you want a business partner, but here the fuck I am, and you're not doing anything to, like, show me or show the universe that that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like, talk the talk, bro. Like, walk the walk, you know? And obviously, I definitely have to turn the observation back onto myself, because I'm not, you know, perfect in any way. I mean, I'd like to believe on a personal level that I am, but you know what I mean? I'm not. I believe a good master knows that there's always something to learn. There's always something to integrate. There's always something to experience. You know what I mean? And I forgot. I don't know where I was going with that. I was lost. I remember what I was saying. I was being transparent. There's always something to learn. There's always something to integrate, something to experience. You know what I mean? And I know for sure I've been in situations where I asked for something and then I received it, and then I wasn't capable of, like, maintaining it. And this is why journaling is so important. This is why meditation is so important, because it gives you the time and energy to, like, sit down and, like, focus your thoughts and, like, really, you know, hone in on what it is that you're trying to manifest, you know? Like, I don't know, like, I want to believe that if I received $10,000 right now, I would know how to handle it, because I have, you know, visualized, I've thought about it, I've prepped for it, but I won't know until it actually comes to me, you know what I mean? If it comes to me, you know, because I don't know, maybe that's just not the way. Maybe I'm not supposed to get what the fuck? I don't know if that's a bird or a person. I don't know if you could hear that, but it sounded like somebody yelling. I recently watched this documentary with Morgan Freeman where he was talking about God in different contexts. He was, like, basically going around the world, I guess, talking to people about their perception of God, and, like, it was very different. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting to hear Morgan Freeman talk about chosen ones. You know, I don't think it's necessarily a taboo subject, but it's definitely one of those things where, at least me personally, I try to, like, be very careful about talking about stuff like that. And maybe I need to stop doing that. Maybe I need to stop walking on eggshells, but that's kind of just how I am right now. I don't know. But he was talking about that. He was talking about, you know, their impact on the world and how they get treated and all that shit. And I actually fell asleep to it. Like, it was just something I was watching to kind of unwind. And so, like, I fell asleep with it playing, so I didn't really necessarily watch it all. But, and I don't know. I say all that to say that I do feel like, to some degree, I am one of those. I don't like carrying the title because I feel like it definitely has a connotation, and it definitely does have an essence to it that I don't necessarily want to connect with. But yeah, because the world we live in is fucked up. And like, if you're not able to see that, like, there are people who actually see that. Like, I'm one of those people, and I can do things to counteract that. And I don't know, it's just like this energy of like, people just want to feel in control, and people want to be in power and like have influence. And it's just like, have influence over yourself, bro. Take control over yourself. Get rid of those demons that are living within you, and take control of yourself, bitch. Like, trying to control everything but yourself. Like, what the fuck? And I don't know, I don't necessarily judge these people for being so wicked and malicious, but there is a level of defense on my part of like, I have to protect myself. Even if I'm not actively judging you, I still have to protect myself, you know what I mean? And it's ridiculous to me that empathy is lost on these people. Because it's like, how could you not understand that your actions are not desired, that your actions are not helpful to anyone but yourself, you know what I mean? And even still, sometimes it's not even helpful to yourself. Sometimes these evil people, these malicious people be so like backwards, they hurt themselves in the process of trying to hurt other people. And it's just like, are you that fucking dumb? Like, do you not have a brain? You know what I mean? And like, sometimes I'll be like, maybe they fucking don't. I talked about a reprobate mind like a couple weeks ago or whatever, and I definitely stand by that. Like, a lot of people are lost in the fucking sauce. They're fucking lost in the membrane, you know? And it's hard to wrap my brain around it, but like, you know? And you just gotta watch out for these people. Watch out for the mind games and the double speak and the hypocrisy and all that jazz. Because these people will be the biggest hypocrites, excuse me. They will like go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, but then be like snorting cocaine in the club on Tuesday. Like, and also, just to clarify, I don't think drugs are inherently bad. I think it's how we use them. Just to get that out of the way. But you know what I mean? Like, people who like publicly have such a clean image, but then like behind closed doors they be doing some shit, and it's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Who the fuck? You know? So you just gotta really watch out for people like that. You know, because a lot of people are just not who they say they are. It really sucks, because it makes me so angry, and I have to like contain my anger, because to some degree that's what they want. They want you to be bitter. They want you to be angry just like them, because that's how they are. They're bitter, they're angry, they're mad at life, you know? And it's sad, it sucks once again for them. But it's like, bitch, just because you hate your life doesn't mean I need to. The fuck? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to me. The fuck? I don't know. I'm about to perhaps purchase some marijuana. Hopefully I can get some more money in so I don't feel super bad about it. I don't know. Because I know I'm doing really well overall. Like, I know I've been, you know, doing what I need to be doing, but sometimes it gets so difficult because of the people that I'm around, you know. And back to the intuition thing, because I don't want to consistently blame other people when I know better, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people do that. Like, they'll know just what they need to do, but they'll get mad at the people around them. I don't want to be that person, so I do have to take a moment to be like, well, I know I'm in the wrong in this way, you know what I mean? Like, I know I could have done this better. I know I could have, you know, and that's for sure. Like, I could definitely be taking heed to my intuition more, you know, because one thing I felt called to do that I haven't done yet is to go to the shelter. And there are different reasons why I don't want to go to the shelter, but I know that I could, and that would be a way to get away from this situation, you know? And it's not even like it's a huge issue at this point. Like, I feel like everybody's like walking on eggshells. Like, a lot of people are kind of like going out of their way to avoid me, which is annoying, which is frustrating, because it's like, what did I do? Like, this is all you. Like, you're the one who chose to, like, you know what I mean? Antagonize me. You're the one who chose to come into my energy. So, like, why should I feel uncomfortable because you don't know how to behave yourself? Like that. And I think that's the worst thing about dealing with immature people. It's like, why do I have to face the consequences of you not maturing and not being the mature adult that you should be? Like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? And that's why it's so important to distance yourself from these sorts of people. Instead of trying to rationalize and, like, you know, reason with them, like, you just need to distance yourself from these people, because they're just going to keep doing what they want to do. They're just going to keep being ignorant and stupid and foolish, you know? And you're going to want to be patient with them. You're going to want to, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Like, especially, and this one isn't going to be for everybody, especially if they're older than you. Like, that's also a really big thing. Like, if you're, like, in your 20s or your 30s and you feel like you have it relatively figured out, like, you already kind of get a grip of who you are and, like, you know, like, please be mindful of those people, because, like, how are you twice my age and you haven't matured? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. And once again, we don't necessarily need to judge these people, but it's just like, come on now. Like, you're how old and you still haven't learned how to treat people? You still haven't learned how to be a good steward, how to be a good friend? Like, it doesn't compute. You know what I mean? And then you play the victim card and you want to cry and be like, nobody likes me, nobody loves me. Maybe because you're a piece of shit. Maybe because you're a fucking manipulative piece of shit. Fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be so fucking for real. But, like, these people can't be fucking for real because they have such cognitive dissonance. They don't want to look at the truth if the truth means that they are a bad person, you know? And it's just ridiculous. I saw this video. There was this black guy. It doesn't really matter that he was black, but he was a black guy, and he was chilling in his home or whatever, and I guess somebody came along and took a picture of him. And so I don't know what happened. Like, you only see a portion of the video, obviously, but, like, the guy is basically profusely apologizing, and whether or not it's an act is not, you know, in my knowledge, but it seemed sincere to me. It seemed like he genuinely was, like, apologetic. And it's very rare that you see somebody do some fucked up shit like that and then try to take ownership of it, or try to, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people will double down and be like, well, no, bitch, I didn't do that. You were just, and it's like, you know? So, but yeah, I'm gonna end this here, I guess. I guess I could say, well, hold on. But yeah, as a closing message, I guess I could say, hope you remember, hope you know, miracles happen all the time. Whatever you're going through is temporary. Don't let the fucking stupid people get to you. And keep your head up. Stay hydrated. It'll be okay. Or maybe not. But most likely it'll be okay. Deuces.